It has been said that I have two alternatives: either go to jail or go to the army. But I would like to say that there is another alternative, and that alternative is justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Muhammad Ali has just refused to be inducted into the United States Armed Forces.
He refused induction on the grounds of his religious convictions on war.
My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some poor hungry people in the mud for big powerful America and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger.
You know, Muhammad Ali is really important in this because when Ali refuses induction, there's a famous column in the New York Times written by Tom Wicker where he just wonders out loud what would happen if you had 100,000 Muhammad Alis. If you had 100,000 people who were prepared to do what Muhammad Ali just did, you would bring this war to a stop. So the draft resistors set that kind of as a goal.
It took an all-white jury less than a half hour to find Muhammad Ali guilty of all charges and specifications. He was sentenced to the maximum, 5 years in prison, and was fined $10,000.
No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't.
I find nothing amusing or interesting or tolerable about this man. He's a disgrace to his country, his race, and what he laughingly describes as his profession. He has been found guilty. He is out on bail. He will inevitably go to prison, as well he should. He's a simplistic fool and a pawn.
Do you share the same concern that Muhammad has for his draft status?
Oh, I certainly do. My views on the draft are very clear. I'm against it. And I think the sooner our country does away with the draft, the better it will be for everybody.
Welcome to a special edition of RBN Live State of the Union. I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. What's up, Nick?
What's popping, my friends, my family? Welcome back again for a special RBN edition, Biden State of the Union coverage. I figure I'll be watching this event raging. And I remember last time I was kind of live tweeting debunking their nonsense. Now with the geopolitical state as the way it is, I was definitely going to watch this anyway because I wanted to see what the Biden administration response will be regarding China, their messaging on Ukraine. These are things I'm very interested in seeing how they continue to push for war. And I also seen the messaging that came from Biden and his administration where I seen Democratic insiders, like it's disgusting. We may do this segment here soon where they had the two press secretaries on MSNBC. I think it was a Morning Joe segment. I saw it today. It was Jen Psaki. She was there, and then there was Jean Pierre, and it was like, oh, the press secretaries meeting, and it was like so cringe. It was state TV at the highest level, and then they asked this question that shows that we are the most propagandized country of in the world right now, and it was like Cream Pierre, or whatever her name is. It was like, what is the media getting wrong? What are we missing? Why do people feel like the Biden administration is not doing anything? But you guys are definitely are. You guys are doing a great job. But what are we doing wrong in conveying your message to the people? And I'm like, dude, do you guys realize the country we live in? The media, like, literally look at the politicians like, are we being nice enough to you guys? Are we propping up your record enough? Oh my God, please criticize us. Tell us how we can do better in covering you. It was unbelievable. I'm gonna say that video because it's worth breaking down for that alone. But one of the reasons we want to do this coverage as well, feel free to interrupt any time, CJ, because we need to frame the narrative. We need to point out the contradictions in capitalism, and then we can play a little bit of this clip as well. Let me share. I'm gonna share my screen just for 1 second here.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
I want to show you guys this to frame the conversation correctly, because I know it may upset some people, but my biases are pretty clear. I'm here to expose the contradictions of the two-party duopoly, show people why the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are not worth voting for. This pitch is important for Biden because this is like the start of his like presidential campaign, and now this is him doing PR for himself. And that's what these state of unions always are. And we're gonna see a lot of cringe. We're gonna have a lot of content here come soon because you already know AOC. They're gonna ask about Biden. They're gonna go. Yeah, Biden's doing great. It's coming. It's coming. But this is the reality of Biden's record, and I literally could not fit everything within Twitter character limits. Like,
of
you can
course
go,
not.
like the escalation of war in Ukraine, funding Nazis in Ukraine, escalating World War III against China and Russia. You have all those. You have the Biden administration who broke up a railroad strike. Like this alone, like literally, you can take any one of these bullet points alone, and that's enough to cancel presidency to me. Right? Break up a railroad strike, expands the military-industrial complex to record levels. Boeing, Raytheon, all of them assured a story. They're making record profits right now. That's because the Biden administration. How are you a leftist and you're not opposed to that? Record DHS spending and ICE spending. Once again, the squad used to care about this. The boutique left, they used to care about this. Siphoned COVID relief money to the police, and hold this thought as well, because I want to pass these CJ. I don't want to run forever. Because another point I want to hit on, because we're gonna see it surely here in this coverage of them weaponizing Tyree Nicole family and trying to pretend, oh, we're the sympathetic side that care about policing reform, as they are the one who funds their killers taking out COVID relief money. And this is why I already covered funds Nazis and genocidal Zionists. Once again, barely scratching the surface. I didn't even talk about.
It's like watching two slave owners trying to convince one slave to come to his plantation. That's what it's like seeing the Democrats kind of, you got one slave plantation owner that's like, fuck it, I'm not putting up no front. I'm your owner and that's it. And then you got one that's being nice. Would you like some milk, some water? And then that's the Democrat. And then we're supposed to go jump on that person. It's like, it's the same thing. One person is being slightly aesthetically nicer without anything behind it. But these State of the Unions, what I mostly want to hear, I'm here for the gaffes, to be honest with you. I'm here for the gaffes. I'm here for see him walk away or something like that. They don't have him supremely hyped up on the strongest stuff of the year. This is the night. Whatever they have him on.
and I purposely keep conversations, you guys know, like around electoral politics, like we gotta expose the things as a joke as it is. So this is nothing more than just clown show theater and an opportunity to debunk the nonsense that the progressive NATO left take 100% seriously. But we can play a little bit of video. I start down my monologue. I still got
this is the live feed to the floor before it, so it hasn't started yet. So they're just showing people coming into it. This is the Washington Post's feed on YouTube.
We can take a lot of comments as well. It's gonna be more chill.
This will be chill. We can listen in since they're doing some commentary. We can listen and see what they are talking about right now.
You already know we're not gonna last that long, probably.
April, but tonight is the biggest audience he's going to get in a while, and so it's an opportunity for him to recap the successes that his administration had over the last 2 years.
Recap.
Also, try to put forward a message forward and explain to the American people.
Remember the segment we did where you had there was like multiple stories like these where you had a corporate journal that was like, you look at all these things that Biden did for Black Americans, and then all was like Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown. Then they listed police reform in there. Was like, he gave more money to the police. He gave COVID relief money to the police. How are you going to take one of his worst traits and say, hey, look, man, he did something for you guys? It's literally unbelievable.
Because they named it after George Floyd. That means he did something.
It's unbelievable.
Very unbelievable. But let's listen into what they're saying here. They brought in the Black person. Get the Black view, I guess.
He's here to tell you how great Jim Crow Joe is.
That issue. Now, we've heard Speaker McCarthy said he wants to negotiate. The Biden
there goes Bernie right there.
This is not something we negotiate over. This is paying past bills. How does President Biden address that issue in this fractured moment?
Let's see the answer here.
That's right. If he mentions it, he is certainly going to have to strike a balance, but also be very firm. His White House has said they are not going to use the debt ceiling as a bargaining chip, and they have maintained that line. So it'll be interesting to see how he addresses that. But we do know from Democrats, they aren't yet saying if they would do anything procedural, if it really gets down to it, where they could force a vote. And bring it up for a vote without the speaker doing it. That's something that typically in the past Congresses, it wasn't really done, but that is something that has been discussed as a last attempt to potentially pass that if things get too close to the summertime when we're expected that we would be in default.
Hey, CJ.
So it's something that.
Yes.
I got something I can share real quick as well.
Yeah, go ahead. Do
I
you
want
do
to.
that.
Okay, we just once again, this is a chill stream here. I saw this earlier. I want because the right wing, they are gonna pounce on Biden no matter what regarding the Chinese balloon incident. Look at what this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is what because she's in the news because like this is like their big theater day. So all the right wing has lost their goddamn mind over a fucking balloon, which apparently there's theories now, which I didn't consider earlier, and I'm open to these theories. That one of the reasons why the Biden administration didn't want to immediately shoot over Montana, and not to keep people safe, is that if they shot it down and people were looking through it, they'll see that like, yo, this is just some ordinary fucking balloon, y'all. I've been paying attention to the story for a while. CJ, when have they did a dissection of what was in the balloon and the technology in there? They haven't
done it yet.
Well, they haven't. Why they haven't done it? Like these are questions I'm legitimately like we are going through these stories live, and I'm like, and now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, they are hiding the fact that this is an ordinary fucking balloon. Like it's ridiculous. Like where's that? Like they shot it down, then what? Where's the balloon? What's the technology? Like shouldn't they be telling us this?
Yeah,
So
to me, this is all part of.
Yeah.
This is all part of a story. That's all this is. Like this whole balloon thing, like they've been monitoring, so they supposedly have not seen it. It's to me is part of a story of the buildup for China. Really, I really think there's no other reason to have this right now, right before he was supposed to go, and they've been monitoring it. Why are you picking that day? So I just don't buy the coincidental part of this. So no, not at all.
The only thing is, I am using probability in my analysis here, right? I explained this before. What is more likely? The Chinese who say that this was a civilian air balloon, a project gone awry that they deeply regret, right? Or China who wants to meet with Blinken and want the United States to fucking chill. China has been openly frustrated with how the United States have been trying to provoke them into war. While China's like, man, I just want to build shit. I just want to make new technologies. That's the only thing we want to do. So they've been very open about the fact they don't want to escalate war. So why would they send a balloon across the Pacific that goes into Canada, comes down to Montreal? Like, this doesn't make any sense, especially when they got satellites. So then the right wing make up these conspiracy theories and say, oh, this balloon has an EMP. There was a terrorist attack attempt by China. If that was the case, you think that there would be a vested interest in the media doing a dialogue. Look at this balloon. Look at the EMT technology that we found in here. There's none of that happening, CJ. Why is that? Because this is obviously a psyop that is just used as an excuse to manufacture consent towards escalation with China. What's probably wrong? I won't put
What's
Rome.
up, Rome?
I think he's ready.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully. What's up, Rome? Make sure you unmute yourself. There you go. Are you ready?
I don't know if he's ready. He may not be ready.
Yeah, I'll pop him out. Hold on.
Yeah. It looked like he reading, so he might not even have his screen up. But Glenn Greenwald is on Tucker, and Tucker is covering the State of the Union. So I'm going to bring that up.
Yeah, pull it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this up. It's live, but I'm able to rewind it. And I rewind it until his interview. And you'd be surprised what Tucker says at the end, and he's about to bring in Glenn right now. So let's see what he's saying.
Yeah, make sure you check the audio.
Maybe they should have some of the money. It's not clear if that's ever going to happen. It's also not clear if any of the many media outlets
It's kind of low
that
too.
gotten gains from FTX, like
Okay,
the
let's see.
left-wing blog Semaphore, will ever pay that money back. Scandal probably
there
in
we go.
history. Joe Biden is expected to ignore it completely tonight, even though the Democratic Party was the main political beneficiary of the money.
What do you want him to do?
Glenn Greenwald is a journalist working on Substack.
Let's
Finds
hear
the
it. I wanna
story
hear this.
interesting. He joins us tonight. Glenn, thanks so much for coming on. It's a little weird, like the cynical among us when the FTX story broke said to one another, this will be out of the news in a week. And actually it was. Does that shock you?
Man, his laugh is terrible.
Yes and no. I mean, it would be like, if Bernie Madoff was found to be with his tentacles in a bunch of political offices, you would think that would be a story that would go on for a long time. I think the reason why they wanted to get rid of this is it's too revealing. I remember the time that Trump boasted the fact that he could, before being president, get anyone on the phone in Washington by just offering them up a check and they would do whatever he asked for. That, of course, is how DC works. And this shows it. There are politicians who are very liberal, who usually would be in favor of regulating a new currency, a cryptocurrency, who suddenly got adamant that the government should stay out of it. It turns out they were getting big money from FTX. There are, he said in an interview, Sam Bankman-Fried did, that he purposely touted his donations to Democrats and hid the ones he made to Republicans, because the only way to be popular among the media is by having them think that you're donating to Democrats. If they donate to Republicans, they hate you. So there's so much going on here that reveals a little bit too bright of a light on how Washington really works.
And I wonder is there any hope? You spent so many years in the media that somebody, well-funded news organization, will just get to the bottom of it, write a clear series on what happened ever.
The problem is that he was buying out media outlets as well. I mean, so many of them were recipients of huge amounts of money. The Intercept, where I used to work, I founded it and then quit, got huge grant from him, and to this day refuses to return it. And everyone knows, including these politicians, it's not their money. That money was stolen.
Bombs on the Intercept.
And people are out without their money.
So Ryan Grimm is getting money from FTX,
that doesn't belong to them.
It's really unbelievable. Glenn Greenwald, thank you for that perspective.
And the same with Pfizer. Like Pfizer literally donates to.
So we're learning that Joe Biden is going to single out smokers.
Like not MSNBC, and then people wonder why they get nothing but praising, glowing coverage of big pharma and no questioning of their narrative. And that's just one of many instances of that. Like in weapon manufacturers who advertise on MSNBC, CNN, and now like, if you watch the Ukraine segments, and we broke down a few of them, literally they are glorified weapon advertisements. Like it's just some guy who doing promotions for the ideal of sending weapons because MSNBC took a check from the arms industry. That's why that kind of stuff happens. But CJ Rome, thank you for joining us.
What's up, Rome?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
Yeah, we just chilling, man. I'm gonna pull some more comments up. We're going.
Yeah, you can take that down. If somebody else pop up on the screen, I'll bring it back up. But we're just kind of casually chilling tonight listening to this bull that's about to come up, and we already know.
See, I think for the Super Chat, and I am very hesitant, and I'm especially not gonna criticize the family because I'll just say I wouldn't do it. I think it really hurts our cause, but they are in so much grief. They want anyone to reach out to them, so I'm not gonna be mad at them because the Super Chat said, "Forgive me for the statement. However, Tyree Nicole's family should be ashamed for attending this State of the Union. Squad members already taking photos with them, so that sucks. But I'm not gonna get upset with them because I can only imagine what they are going through. I'm gonna share this. I think this is a good opportunity to share my screen here.
Sometimes, even though our people go. A lot of our people aren't as left as we would like. They will contact and have connections with people that we wouldn't necessarily want them to have. But the thing is, people are going to have to learn themselves. Like, no disrespect, but Tamara Rice, mother, she learned. Like, you can't trust a lot of these media heads, these politicians, and now she's speaking out against them. She's speaking out against Sean King, stealing money from her, and all kind of stuff. But it's really going to take for you to get burned, for you to learn sometimes, because especially when you're in a grieving moment like that. So just give them time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna share this headline, and this is why I haven't looked at the videos of the squad, and I'm sure it's gonna be horrible tonight of them hugging the Tyron Nicole's family. But this is why I take all my anger out on Biden. Like I was furious. I went on a rant here. I made a tweet thread about it. And instead of getting upset at them, I'm taking all that rage towards the ruling class that knows exactly what they're doing. There's nothing more disgusting than what Biden and the Democrats do. When they support policy that kill our people, they use our black pain to gain political capital. They take that political capital and fund our killers even more. The Republicans and Donald Trump wish they can get away with that. They wish. So let me read this article. Feel free to interrupt anytime. I don't care if you guys interrupt. We're just hanging out. So I'm just sharing some news stories and whatever. This is just covering the guests. Joe Biden's State of the Union guest includes Tyree Nicole's parents, Bono for a fucking reason, Ukraine ambassador because of course they're essentially like Puerto Rico now, like a territory of ours. Paul Pelosi because of course there's nothing but theater. But all those are like, of course, obviously political theater nonsense. The Ukraine ambassador being there is telling in terms of geopolitics, but it doesn't tell us anything new. But this is what really, really upsets me is they're using his death in order to prop up and pretend that Biden is sympathetic to our community's plights. And then there was a segment, they were breaking this down on Morning Joe, when they said Biden's going to push for the George Floyd Policing Act. And I was like, so you going to take this story where this guy was brutally beaten by 6 police officers in a horrendous way and use that as a way, as opportunity to get political capital for a bill that gives police more funding.
Yeah, that's all it does. That's all the bill does. Like I remember I was having an argument with somebody.
It was so evil. So evil.
Democrats are passing the George Floyd. I said, did you read that bill? Why you sitting here gloating about it? It just funds the police more. Like that's not something that you can that's not something that that's not a W. And like you were saying, Trump wished that he can get away with that shit. Cause I remember when they was debating, Biden was like, this nigga he defunded the police already. I wanted to fund the police more. And the people like I really
motherfuckers. Look, see, I gotta be careful, man. I'm on YouTube. See, I gotta censor myself. Like, I'll be careful. Like, so all the crazy motherfuckers, and this is what we're talking about. Like, instead of gang banging in the hood, bro, instead of gang banging against the proletariat, how about we gang bang against these people? I'm gonna stop myself. Like, if anyone's gonna do any mass shootings, anyway, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. We already probably in trouble. But dude, this is like the collection. They're the collection of the worst people in the world right now. I know most people, if they ask them what they think of evil, most like white America, they would think of people in like turbans, terrorists. They probably manufacture like image of black dudes with AK-47s. But make no mistake about it. All right, chill, bro. Make no mistake about it. This group that we see right now are the most evil group with the most blood on their hands out of any collection of humans in the world right now. But
it's these people here. It's these people here. Go ahead, Ron.
What the fuck is Bono doing there? Like this is so crazy how our celebrities speak for us politically. You don't see that shit in too many other countries, especially out further east or whatnot. You don't like their celebrities are celebrities. Their guest shows are guests, but somehow, some reason, this is one of the only ways you can get Americans to pay attention because you got to put a clown in the show for them to pay attention to the circus again because then they mind start drifting off. But he has no reason to be there. I'm pretty sure he has. I hope he don't have political power. I hope he don't have political power to be sitting there giving a speech. But none of this shit makes sense. And all you Americans are dumb. This is why Bono is there. Especially you people who fall for this two-party system. You guys are idiots. And he's just a clown in a circus to make you feel better, to make you make you feel better about the evil that you are supporting and that you fund. But yeah, all you guys are idiots.
Let's go back to let's see what the videos what they're saying right now. Let's play audio just for a little bit.
Shaky the president's cabinet. No accountability. But support for them has dropped. Support for the institution of the Supreme Court has dropped. Desire for expansion has increased, right? I would also be knocked over with a feather or something later if he mentioned that he's a protector of the
Look at
institution of
these,
the
the
court.
first
No way he touches
two,
that, I don't think.
the
Yeah, all
first
the
three
questions about
actually.
changes to the court or term limits for the court or reforms to the court.
Lincoln,
President Biden
Yellen,
dispatched very easily with the
and
time-honored tradition
Austin.
of giving it to a blue ribbon panel
Like
to
some of
produce
the
a
worst
document that was
people
then
on the
put on a
planet.
shelf and never revisited. But that's where
Like
the
seeing this
politics
stuff
of
made my
that
skin
stand right now.
crawl.
And I think
Like
that'll be
Americans
probably
show
anything could happen. We may be
political
surprised.
events from the
This is the
DPRK,
president's
and they're like, "Oh my
comment
God, look how
on Friday today, and
militaristic!
there's
Look
a
how
little bit of
scary this
interesting
country
news
looks."
today.
I
There's
see
been
this. This is like a
so
death
little
cult. This is
turnover at the
like a
highest
death
levels of
ritual.
President
We're all going to
Biden's
come together and
administration
talk about
for
how we're
these
going
first
to
2
fund the
years.
war
And very
more.
stark
We all
contrast to
going
what
to
we
come
saw
together and mean talk about how
under
we're
the
going to
last
screw
president.
workers more. But we're going to put on a
Today, in
show and
fact,
make them
we
think they're our
learned
friends.
that a member
This is the
of the
highest
cabinet
level of
cabinet
evil.
secretary is
This
going to
room has killed more people, has killed off more generations than any other communist leader or dictator that they will have you that they want you to be afraid of. These people have killed generations off. People that we will never get back, civilizations that we will never get back. You know, this is hell. This is hell, and these are the demons that run the place.
I say that's an accurate description. I don't detect any lies here, but just looking at some of his cabinet of despicable propagandist liars, you know how much? I wonder how much money is in this room. It's got to be
Jesus
several
Christ.
$billion. Like it has to be several $billion in that room right there.
While we wait for the speech, I'm gonna share this. I saw
Absolutely.
this. This was posted an hour ago. Let's react to what Pete Buttigieg is saying.
Uh-oh.
Pretty much, this live stream
Uh-oh.
is all live reaction. So this is the messaging that's come from the Biden administration regarding their horrific administration, their administration that is deeply unpopular, that is a joke on the global stage. Anyway, let's listen to Pete Buttigieg here.
But if you look big picture,
The guy in all the early bullshit fake polls, he's like the favorite. So we see he's the guy they pushing heavily for 2024.
as Ron Klain recently put it during his departure event, if you just think about the historic terms of what this president has done, the most significant economic legislation since FDR, while managing the biggest land war in Europe since Truman.
Managing the biggest land war. How for one, how do you say that like it's a good thing? You're not managing peace, you're managing a war. How's that a good thing?
Clown.
That's one of his biggest criticisms. Like if I was a critic, I'd buy him the war thing. Yeah, that's put that on top of the list. People just like, yeah, that's one of the good things he's doing. And I've heard that before, where I've seen liberals say Biden, unlike Donald Trump, earned the respect of our allies and brought the NATO coalition. Now they're tired together than ever, and he isolated China and Russia. It's the exact opposite. He literally drove away allies. He drove away Saudi Arabia. He drove away India. He drove away Brazil. Like everything they say is the exact opposite. Anyway, I'll play a little bit more because it's not a long clip, and we get back to the State of the Union.
And then delivering the second largest, most significant healthcare legislation since LBJ, all while dealing with the slimmest congressional majority any new Democratic presidents had in about 100 years, going on to deliver the most significant climate legislation passed by
He's a
any
fracker.
president or any government in any part of the world ever.
He's a fracker. He's funding the military budget.
Then the courts go against him giving away all those acres to the fucking to the oil execs. Then they have to go. Then they have to take him
I
to
believe
court.
so. I'll have to look that up again, but I believe
So
so.
what climate is he talking? What the fuck is this guy talking about?
we got like go ahead, Ron. Go ahead, Ron.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say something.
No, go ahead.
But I can't say it because then people gonna be like, "Oh, Roman's a fucking homophobe." So you know what? I hope some gay dudes just run up and sock the fuck out of this lying ass dude, and especially somebody who had missed, you know what I'm saying, missed out on their family gatherings during the holidays because of Pete Buttigieg. So yes,
I remember obviously black people wasn't fucking with Pete Buttigieg. So then there was op-eds written in the New York Times and other corporate Democratic rags was like, why is the black community still so homophobic? Why won't they get over it? This is why they don't like Pete Buttigieg. There's no other explanation. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. the way they'll quickly smear the black voter. The
And
same
then
way they
they did,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Like they didn't listen to all the black people that he had gentrified out of his community when he was the mayor, and he was knocking down houses that people were still living in. These was black communities that he was targeting. You didn't think that other black communities heard that? You didn't
Yeah.
think that we talked to our people, our cousins that live down there, or our people that was
Bro,
victims
that
of that
clip of
shit?
that clip of him telling that black woman, he like, I'm not trying to win your vote. When she's like, you don't care if I vote for you, I'm not trying to win your vote. That shit went viral on Black Twitter, and anyone on Black Twitter like, fuck this dude. To your boy, Rome.
Yeah, like what are you trying to do then? How are you going to win? Even if the black community, like this is how the Democratic Party views you, right? You see, the Republican Party, they can be as racist, they can be fascist, they can be bigots and whatnot, but they have to work with these people because bipartisanship, and those are the only people that they're basically going to vote for. But they don't even want to, like, if the black community was homophobic, why won't y'all come to us on a middle ground and not run somebody who
it's
we
always our fault.
want support? They want you to do what they tell you to do. Vote for who they tell you to vote for. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy.
Remember before the election when it was like, oh my God, why is there this epidemic of black men being tricked by right-wing disinformation? There was already planning on blaming black men if Donald Trump won again.
Oh yeah.
And then while they was doing that, Trump won the majority of white women, and they were still attacking black men for some reason. And then it turned out that black women in the black population saved them because white women they love Trump. And they pretend, but they love attacking black men, and it's a shame because a lot of especially black boomer and older black people, their minds are still colonized, but they legitimately fought for this shit. They'll feel fucking bad and feel like they owe these fucking white people something, and it makes me sick. And I'm glad the young generation don't buy into that. But CJ, Rome, chime in, or we can get some audio. Here, Joe Biden.
It feels like the two people right in front of him are not doing any crowd control. They're doing some Biden control. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, make sure
right there. Straight. Nobody's trying to reach at him. He's not really shaking too many people's hands. But you notice how they keep looking at him. They're watching to make sure this guy is in control. Look at her on the right. You can tell she's uncomfortable. She's like, I wonder if anybody's picking up that we're actually watching Biden. Make sure he doesn't go crazy. There goes George. Is that George Santos in the glasses right there? No, that's not him.
Somebody in the comments says stop comparing his administration to FDR's. We can compare it to FDR's because FDR did not push socialism. He wasn't a socialist. What he did was he saved capitalism. Especially with him leaving out black people out of the New Deal. The stuff we was going through with the Asian communities and whatnot. FDR wasn't a socialist. He was a racist. He was a nationalist. What his thing was is he wanted to, get white people up off the ground. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people was left out of FDR, and what his goal was to save capitalism, which is Joe Biden's goal.
Yeah, and they very slick. What's good, JB? But they're very slick. They say stuff like this. They say Joe Biden had the most progressive economic agenda since FDR. And whenever they say that, I'm like, nigga, they don't even say anything. That could technically be true. But what does that say about Barack Obama? What does it say about Bill Clinton? So when they say that, it's not even like a full lie. It's just a demonstration of how bad United States presidents are. So they say, oh, he's slightly less corrupt, slightly better, which is arguable, debatable, than the other guys. Oh, whoop-de-doo. He's more progressive than fucking Bill Clinton. More progressive than Barack. What does this even mean? It doesn't. In fact, Raytheon, Wall Street, and the top 1% is winning. The working class is losing. So that statement objectively means nothing. But what's popping, JB? Your third stream of the day. My man putting powerful work in. What's popping?
Yeah, I just had to deal with a bit of an emergency, so I just got back. So, but yeah, so yeah, but yeah, This is the club of. This is a club of just imperialist power, who really are the. What you're looking at is employees of oligarchs. This is an employee meeting
Yep.
for all the oligarchs that are going to set the agenda for how they're going to shaft the American people and the world once again. That's exactly what we're looking at. And the manager that has been designated by said oligarchs are going to tell the rest of the employees what they want to do. And then once that happens, then that's how it's going to start. And that's really what we're going to say. Plus, he's also going to call for police reform, but also funding the police. And watch, he's going to do it.
Oh yeah, we were just speaking on that, and this is what
I think you about to get started.
they bring police reform into. That's how they bring police reform to us. They don't say it's actual reform or anything that they can do. They just give them more money and let them investigate.
Yeah.
So let's look at it and feel free.
Hold on, I got one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sabby, Nick, CJ, JB, RBN is forever. I know you guys want to see us break up. You guys want to see Sabby gone. I seen the hit pieces. Sabby is part of RBN forever. So if you're not bringing anything good to the conversation, suck my dick and get the fuck off my channel.
Thank you. You can smile. It's okay.
Can y'all hear it? I can't.
I can hear
okay,
it.
There it goes.
Make sure you turn it
now
off.
I can hear it. Yeah, now I can hear it.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress. By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
One big club.
Also, now he's the good guy. Now they welcome him as Speaker. This is
Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you.
That's so
I want to
fucking fake, bro.
congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries.
Ooh! Look, you see who get that title? The biggest class trader ever gets that title. The first black speaker. The same way Barack Obama, first black president, worst war criminal ever. Eric Holder sold us out to Wall Street. Lloyd Austin, first black Secretary of State.
Congratulations,
First blacks
the
are always the
longest
worst.
serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Fantastic.
Isn't he a threat to democracy? I thought he was so dangerous.
I thought he's a fascist.
So they don't really believe it.
Congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another.
Well, that's what they just tell us.
another
This is a
term
presentation
Senate
to the
minority leader.
Bill Gates, to
you know,
the
I
Michael
think you,
Bloombergs, to the
oh,
Jamie
this time you have a
Dimon.
slightly
This is for
bigger
them.
majority, Mr.
The
Leader.
State of the
You have a
Union to say,
majority
hey
leader.
guys, so Michael
Not
Bloomberg,
that much bigger.
hey, we're about to get a report
Well, I'll tell
on
you
what's
what.
happening
I want to
with
give
our investments.
special recognition
That's
to
what this
someone
is
who I
about.
think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
The greatest speaker, the most corrupt person. She's the
That bitch
greatest
should be in
speaker. You
jail.
see how they're not even talking to us.
Yeah. Looking like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Just imagine Jamie Dimon. This is the greatest speaker in the House. He will be saying yes, but not to us.
Progress
Not
and
to work with.
resilience, of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger.
It's enough
than
Botox on
we
his
got
fucking
into it.
face to make a
Look,
bullshit
folks,
steal.
that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here
Still
tonight
is.
after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because of you all, because of the American people.
4 out of 10 Americans say they forego health care because they can't afford it.
60% of us is paycheck to paycheck.
That's why we're here. I want to have more context of these numbers.
COVID had shut down. Our businesses were closed. Our schools were robbed of so much. And today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threats in civil war. And today, though bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken.
That's stupid because you guys decided to close down all these hospital beds across the country so that people wouldn't be able to get adequate care. So Joe Biden's BSing you right now.
We're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities. We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility. You know, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together to defend a stronger and safer Europe. It came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
Oh my God, we poisoned these people who signed up for our military. We poisoned these people. Cheer for us. That's what he wanted you to cheer for.
in fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president. From reauthorizing the
That's not a good
Violence
thing for the
Act,
working class.
to the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love, and to my Republican friends. If we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well.
I'm going to just switch screens really quick. So we're going to dip out with this applause because I'm going to go to your suggestion, JB, and bring up the White House feed so that we don't get a copyright strike. So here is the White House feed right here.
Mm-hmm.
For the sake of fighting.
That's public info.
Power conflict for the sake of
Oh,
conflict.
God, man.
That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours.
You should text Biden and say, fuck you.
To build the backbone
That
of
number they
America,
put at the bottom.
America's middle class, and to unite the country. We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view. For decades, the
By
middle
killing
class has
us?
been hollowed out in more than, and not no one administration, but for a long time. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories.
You
closed
moved them
down.
overseas.
Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. Along the way, something else we lost: pride, our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel that pride in what we do.
Yeah, we felt that when the CARES Act passed. When the CARES Act passed, we felt
top down.
real all that shit.
Well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well.
Fuck this cracker ass cracker. Lying ass motherfucker, man.
I know a lot of you always kid me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity.
Bullshit.
It's about respect.
If you go on strike, I will break it. You better not go on strike.
This old ass nigga don't even remember what his daddy said. He fucking lying.
Let's look at the results. We're not finished yet.
Daddy got to be like 140.
But unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low. Near record.
The spirit of the proletariat is what matters, not your fucking job numbers. How strong is the
Near
working
record
class?
unemployment.
Hey, Nick, I kicked off millions of niggas off unemployment.
Your help.
We have the lowest rates ever
Manufacturing
for
jobs.
people on unemployment.
Growth in 40 years.
Fuck out of here.
And where is it written? Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? And I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs.
NAFTA! You guys did NAFTA! Like, what the hell are you talking about?
He's talking about like a magical figure did it. Like, oh my God, who did this? It was
you. The pandemic disrupted
I understand, but what jobs? Because during the pandemic, we lost tons of mom and pop. The last of the mom and pop shops that we had in America, we lost those jobs. The only jobs that got built was Amazon. What jobs have really gotten built here?
On earth right now.
There's no Chrysler plant, no Ford plant. Shut the fuck up.
Here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak. Food inflation is coming down, not fast enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months, while take-home pay has gone up. Additionally, over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. And by the way, every time someone starts a small business is an act of hope. And Madam Vice President, I want to thank you for leading that effort to ensure that small businesses have access to capital
platitudes
and the historic laws we enacted that are going to just come into being. Standing here last year, I shared with you a story of American genius and possibilities. Semiconductors, small computer chips the size of a fingerprint that power everything.
You go to war.
Cell phones, automobiles, and so much more. These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America.
No, it wasn't. You're
We
lying.
used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles. But American automobiles.
We sold in manufacturing, and now look at that.
Prices went up.
Is that the consequences of our actions?
So did everything.
No!
The cell phones. We can never let that happen.
So I need to go smoke.
That's why.
I need to go join from my other computer because I gotta go. I can't do this. Hold on.
Passed the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act.
Look, Joe Biden wouldn't know a chip if you threw a bag of Lay's at his head.
We sold our manufacturing to China,
folks,
and now what the fuck? No, that is your guys' fault. That's your guys' fault. You literally signed an NAFTA
We're going to
bill
make sure the supply
that did
chain
these
for
things.
America begins in America. The supply chain begins in America.
Not according to
We've
Bill
already
Clinton.
created. We've already created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country. Throughout, not just
What type of jobs, nigga?
Country as well. That's going to
My niggas tired of working at McDonald's. They tired of working at Amazon. They tired of working at UPS. What fucking jobs, bro?
American manufacturing over the next few years. Outside of Columbus, Ohio.
I'm going outside. I'll be back. I'm joining from my other computer because I can't do this shit.
Make sure you adjust the mic levels too.
Literally a field of dreams. It's going to create 10,000 jobs, that one investment. 7,000 construction jobs. 3,000 jobs in those factories once they're finished. They call them factories. Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year, and many do not require a college degree. Jobs. Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for opportunity. It's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed to support those 3,000 permanent jobs. and the factories that are going to be built. Talk to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans, and they'll tell you what this means for their communities. We're seeing these field of dreams transform to the heartland. But to maintain the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world. And folks, as you all know, we used to be #1 in the world in infrastructure. We've sunk to 13th in the world. The United States of America.
I just want to add this context just real quick because I dug this article up that says a record amount of people are worse off right now. 4 out of 10 Americans say they're economically worse off under Joe Biden. So go ahead. I just want to add that context.
And folks, already we've funded over 20,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water, high-speed internet, all across America. Urban, rural, tribal. And folks, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. And I mean this sincerely. I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law. And my Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the groundbreaking.
He's talking about funding the wall.
Look. This law.
Sit the fuck down.
This law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, badly needed repairs, one of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, I've been talking about fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans and from both states to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project. And while I was there,
while he sends $100 billion to Ukraine,
named Sarah.
Yeah,
I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you?
Joe, and give it to our infrastructure.
Well, Sarah, for 30 years
on the global stage.
For 30 years.
You've been charged how long? And we got one of the worst.
She told me she's been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as.
Here's the first black prop and worker prop. The guy who broke the strike is now pointing out a union worker he had bring there, and she's black. It's being used as props.
This is why when we said we don't give a fuck if these people like us. We need the working class to take that approach. We need people to decline the invitation to these people.
And that's we're
not there yet. We still got a lot of work to do on the proletariat.
Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America. 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America.
He's replacing lead pipes before it gets water, huh?
Instead of having permanent damage to their brain.
The infrastructure bill, Bernie Sanders proposed $16 billion over 10 years. Joe Biden did like 1.9. That is not enough to replace all the bad piping in the country. That is the criticism of the weak infrastructure bill.
Affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to drive McDonald's parking lot to help them do their homework online with their kids, which many thousands were doing across the country. And when we do these projects, and again, I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it. We're going to buy American. We're going to buy America.
So
these are just sound bites.
They like saying Trump would say. The party,
capitalism is,
and it's totally.
If capitalism is so great, how come it seems like they're always having to catch up with infrastructure? They're always having to catch up. They're always behind.
But for too long, past administration.
You're going to buy American. That's exactly what you're going to do.
Not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards that require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America.
But what if there are no new
Made in America.
federal construction projects, Joe?
I mean it. Lumber, glass, drywall, fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, American highways are going to be made with American products as well. Folks, my economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten. So many of you listening to me tonight, I know you feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you?
But if you go on strike, I will break it.
Remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why I get that. That's why we're building an economy where no one's left behind. Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild
Low
America.
energy speech.
Make a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too
Low
many of
energy.
you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering.
Your
what
dad,
in
that's
goddamn
like
happened
80 years
if your
old, man.
spouse
80 years
has
ago.
cancer,
With his fucking dad
or your
again,
child
bro.
gets
You've been
deadly
rich
ill,
longer than you were
or
poor,
something happens
sir.
to you. What are you going to have? You get money to pay for those medical bills? Or you're going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage.
Bro, you are responsible for the medical debt crisis because your bankruptcy bill.
With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interest to bring healthcare costs down.
What?
So you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world.
No
I'll say it
shit,
again.
Sherlock.
We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth. For example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do, and in the audience.
Why?
But every day, millions need insulin to control their diabetes, so they
And
can
then
literally
you
stay
reverse
alive.
Trump's executive order that
Insulin's
controlled
been
insulin
around
prices.
for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone.
Why are we
It
paying
costs
for
the
it?
drug
then?
companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin. Packaging and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars.
What are you gonna do about
$400 to $500 a month, making record profits. Not anymore.
Yes, they're making record profits right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Not they made $1 trillion. Not anymore. After
They got
made
their money, but not
$900 billion,
anymore.
not anymore.
What a ridiculous statement.
We're getting brickballed right now.
So many things that we did are only now coming to fruition. We said we were doing this, and we said we passed a law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare.
That's a huge premium, even
People
for
are
big
getting
pharma.
now.
Why
For
only
seniors
seniors
on Medicare.
I'm sure you're getting the
Everybody
same
hear
calls
that?
I'm getting.
Why only them?
Look, there are millions of other
The
Americans
teenager who needs it apparently got paid
not
more.
on Medicare, including 200,000 young people with type 1 diabetes who need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost
The
of insulin
job.
for everybody
So you're
at
gonna brag about
$35.
Let's finish the job. Let's cap the cost. You see how they always want to leave? They never want to finish any job. It's always a little bit so they can come back for votes. Ridiculous.
Big Pharma is still going to do very well, I promise y'all. I promise you they're going to do very
Oh,
well.
we know. We know.
Yes.
This law also caps and won't even go into
Because
effect.
you've talked to the CEO,
2025.
right? That's how you know.
Cost out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug
That's a
costs.
lot.
Who has $2,000?
You all
That's a
know.
lot of money, bro.
Many of you,
Nigga,
including
that
my
will
family, have
bankrupt me.
cancer.
Nigga, what?
You know the drugs can range from 10,
Why not
11,
free?
14, $15,000 for the cancer drugs.
This makes no sense to
If
me.
drug prices rise faster than inflation, drug companies are going to have to pay.
Other
Medicare
countries are
back
like, what are
the
you talking
difference.
about?
We're finally.
The prices, what?
We're finally giving Medicare.
You guys know how
the power to
ridiculous this
negotiate
is?
drug prices.
Hold
You're
up.
talking about prices
Bringing
of drugs.
down.
That should be
Bringing
free.
down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money. It cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars. By hundreds of billions of dollars.
Single payer does
Because
too.
these
Does it
prescription
more.
drugs
Take more money.
are drugs purchased by Medicare to keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess what? Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government.
This is still a lot of money, bro.
And by the way, why wouldn't we want that? Now, some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm going to exaggerate, but threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach,
Americans are not getting health care.
As my football coach used to say, lots of luck
They're
in your
not getting
senior
health care
year.
because it's too expensive. None of this milk toast shit he's talking about is going to work.
Make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of prescription drugs, I will veto it. Look,
it's already high. He said if you do anything to raise the price of prescription drugs, I will veto it.
Now than ever in history. A record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid.
Whenever he says stuff like that, that's him admitting he failed. Let's get the job done, which means you haven't done the job, right?
Yep.
State of the Union, you're supposed to be making an argument for what you've done for the American people. And now you're showing how weak you are. You can't even get this weak shit done.
Ever. Lowering utility bills, creating American jobs, leading the world to a clean energy future.
They got him on strong-ass medication.
Of record floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires from Arizona to Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border. More timber has been burned that I've observed from helicopters than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires. Roads and water systems withstand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBEW workers. And we're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and efficient
to purchase electric vehicles. Ain't no person purchasing no electric
conservation
vehicle.
efforts to be responsible
Stewards
cost of our land. Let's face reality. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat.
Jesus
We have
fucking
an
Christ.
obligation
Here we go.
to our children and grandchildren to confront it. I'm proud of how America at last is stepping up to the challenge. We're still going to need oil and gas for a while. But guess what? No, we do. But there's so much more to do.
Say it, drill, baby, drill. You might well be saying, drill, baby, drill.
We pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share.
Bullshit, he's lying.
Just begin.
Oh, man. I'm so tired of this electoral stuff, man.
Look, I'm a capitalist.
It's such nonsense.
I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share. I think a lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know. The tax system is not fair. It is not fair.
Capitalism is not fair. What the hell are you talking about, bro?
You are expanding the police state, which imposes regressive fines and fees, which is a public tax on the working class. Civil
55
asset
of the
forfeiture is
largest
a tax.
corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes?
These are your policies.
Yeah.
You literally agree with Mitch McConnell on the Bush tax cut.
Now, because of the law I signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays. And let me be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody, not one penny.
The IRS last year under Joe
There's more
Biden
to do.
literally audited
We have to
poor
reward
working class
work,
people
not
way
just
more than the rich. That is what he's spending the
That's
IRS
my
to do.
proposal for the billionaire minimum tax. You know, there's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning of the term. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter.
Here's the
I mean
headline:
it.
the
Think about
IRS
it.
targeted poorest taxpayers, while millionaires got off scot-free in 2022. That's under Joe Biden.
Look,
So he's bullshitting you right now.
I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion.
Last year, who's president
in the
last
midst of a
year?
global energy crisis.
Because of who?
I think it's outrageous.
Joe Biden, like, who
Why?
did this?
Invested
Who's
too
in
little of
charge?
that profit increased domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells, all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed and beyond that. We're going to need it. Production. If they had, in fact, invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead, they used the record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding their CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's why I propose
The Kaplan's going to do the right
tax
thing.
on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments.
But what I really hate about the State of the Union is like all they're saying is stuff.
Let's finish the job and close the
Stuff that their donors are doing, and they're not going to do anything about none of this stuff they say.
I just signed a law to
You're
reduce the
getting
deficit
paid by the people who you're
$114
trying to
billion
act like you're pointing
by
out.
cracking down on wealthy tax.
He not even doing a good job at that.
That's being fiscally
He's not
responsible.
even doing a good job at pointing them out for real.
In the last 2 years,
Joe Biden, like, man,
administration
will you guys
cut the
cut it
deficit by more
out?
than $1.1
Big Oil, cut it out.
trillion. The largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row.
Who gives a
Because
shit
those
about
record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out. Check it out.
Boy, gonna get mad. He get
Congress
mad.
responded to that debt. They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an
Now
economic disaster.
he's going to start getting partisan. This is
So
the
tonight
partisan
I'm
part of
asking
the
the Congress to
speech.
follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned.
I'm waiting for
Some
the
of my-
Ukraine-China
many of-
part. He's
Some of my
taking his
Republican
time on that.
friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
Dude, you the nigga that said you've been trying to take it away for fucking years, not once, not twice, 3 times. I'm gonna keep
Contact my
trying.
office.
Exactly.
I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if
This is getting off the rails
Congress
now.
doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't
I
even
hope
think
a
it's
fight
even
breaks out.
significant.
That'll make it more entertaining.
Who
But it's
goes
being
through this
proposed
motherfucker?
by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you.
Name them, man, pussy.
Look,
Go shoe.
folks, the idea is
he's losing it.
That we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond, folks.
They will not. They're not going to do it. It's political theater they do all the time. The same fucking storyline. They're gonna push austerity on the working class in order to. The same story. They're gonna pretend they fight, pretend they disagree. They're gonna agree to push austerity.
All right. We got unanimity. So
bitch ass down, Joe Manchin.
Millions of seniors, Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we currently are. Let's stand up for seniors.
Seniors literally have to work
Stand up
instead of
and
being able
serve.
to retire in grace like
We
they
will
are.
not
In
cut
China, they are.
Social We will
In
not
China,
cut
they're literally
Medicare.
building recreation for seniors.
Those benefits belong to the American people.
Meanwhile, in America, they
If
working at
anyone tries to
McDonald's.
cut Social Security, which apparently
Walmart, passing out at Walmart, being fucking door breathing.
And if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it.
No, you won't.
I'm not going to allow them to
You are trying to privatize
Medicare. Not today,
Medicare.
not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently, it's
David
not gonna be
Sirota even wrote a piece about how he privatized
next month.
He pretended
when I
he's a
offer my
friend of
fiscal
seniors.
plan,
Get the
I ask
fuck
my
out of here.
Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together. Let's do that.
Oh, he can sit down with fascists, but it's not a red, brown alliance. See how that works?
I can tell you, the plan I'm going to show you is going to cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades.
But you spending more on the military, your numbers don't add up, Joe.
Well,
what's getting cut then?
Not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but
your numbers not adding up.
We'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share.
What is fair share? Making the money.
Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage.
No one believes that. Literally no one.
Of you, the American consumer.
He's basically saying we're going to make our donors pay our fair share. Like that's going to happen.
It's going to be austerity, guys. Write it down. I promise you.
Stop.
That's going to be the end result.
$1 billion surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors.
What is a fair share in Joe Biden's eyes for a corporation to pay? Because he even said himself, his bill only gives them 15%. Make them pay 15%.
Americans can now save
He's still lower than a worker.
Because they can finally get a
That's why he loved that phrase that is vague.
Without a prescription. Look.
That's why Michael Prentice said, fuck that tax and rich shit. It's too evasive.
Without competition,
He sees the means of production.
It's extortion.
Taxing the rich justifies their income.
Justifies their existence.
With the help of many of you on foreign shipping.
I'm going to go back like 10 seconds. He's talking about capitalism right here.
I signed a bipartisan bill to cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent
right
big
here
online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts.
You guys refuse to hold them accountable. That's why they
$1 billion
was able to
a
cancel
year.
people's flights.
We're cutting
They, not only that, they was writing laws during the pandemic.
From $30
Airlines.
to $8. Look, junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did.
Oh my God!
They add up to hundreds of dollars a month.
And my daddy,
To pay your bills to afford that family trip.
My racist
I know how
daddy.
unfair it feels when a company overcharges you.
Fuck
to get
your
away with
daddy,
it.
nigga.
Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort fees.
Remember how that article AOC said he loved being the minority party? Now Biden got all these plans. Now they don't got full control of government. Now you guys got all these plans. You know it's not going to pass. Now you got all these ideas. Get the fuck out of here. How people don't see through this?
Can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break. We can stop service fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees up front.
I got all these good ideas. I didn't do it my first 2 years, though. I went to wait for some reason.
Be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough.
Now he ain't got no power in the house. Now he's claiming he's gonna do something.
Americans are tired of being. We're tired of being played for suckers. So pass the Junk Fee Prevention Act so companies stop ripping us off. For too long, workers have been getting stiffed.
Really?
Not anymore. We're beginning to restore the dignity of work. For example, I should have known this, but I didn't until 2 years ago. 30 million workers have to sign non-compete agreements for the jobs they take. 30 million. So a cashier at a burger place can't walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few bucks more. It just changed. But they just changed it because we exposed it. That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up. But not anymore. We're banning those agreements so companies have to compete for workers and pay them what they're worth.
Motherfucker, the jobs are owned by one company. Burger King, Taco Bell, all the motherfuckers are owned by one motherfucker, so it don't matter. And what you guys want is us to keep working and keep working. Y'all don't want to pay us a livable wage, so all we need is that one fucking job. The problem isn't people, the jobs aren't there. People are hard to get. The jobs aren't paying.
Because business have a right.
Fucking
Workers have
capitalists.
a right to form a union.
Union, dude, you're gonna break
have a
it.
living wage. Let's make sure working parents can afford to raise a family with sick days, paid family medical leave.
How dare you?
Affordable child care.
After he broke the strike, that was
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're literally just saying whatever they want. It doesn't mean nothing at all. They're saying the opposite of what they're doing and giving themselves credit for crumbs.
Breathing room and cut child poverty in half to the lowest level in history. Wow. And by the way,
cut child poverty. How can you do that if the parents are still poor? That makes no sense. You're cutting child poverty, so you go into the projects and just in the kids' room, he living the life in his own room by himself. Huh? The nigga got a big screen TV in his room, but when he walks outside, everything is destitute. That's what you're telling me.
And what in reality, what it was a loan on your taxes. That's what it was. They didn't cut anything in half. It was a loan on your taxes. It was actually a war against single fathers, but that's another story.
Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. You know, when we made public education, 12 years of it universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world.
What?
The rest of the world's caught up. It's caught up. Bill, my wife, who teaches full time.
I'm about to Google this shit.
I hope I get it right.
I know that's a motherfucker.
Any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. Any nation that out-educates is going to out-compete us.
Compared to Singapore?
Folks, we all know
China?
12 years of education.
Cuba destroys
enough
us
to win the economic competition of 21st
We have
century.
other countries that we bombed. We bombed some countries in the Stone Age, and they're still smarter than us.
Let's finish the job by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. Studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree, no matter their background they came from. Let's give public school teachers a raise.
Oh, I know you are.
all this stuff that they're not going to do when the Republicans control the House. He's saying, hey, let's do this. Let's this cars for everybody, like Oprah did. Like this for everybody when he knows that they're not going to bring up any of these bills at all.
We just covered a Democrat who was blocking teacher pay raises and forcing them not to
Connect
strike.
students to career
Democrats are
opportunities
doing
starting in
that.
high school. Provide access to 2 years of community college. The best career training in America, in addition to being
Excellent.
a pathway to a 4-year degree. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not.
Why do they need a good career? It doesn't matter if you have a good career. Everyone should make a thriving wage. Fuck that rhetoric.
When schools were
You shouldn't have to go to college. You shouldn't have to need a good career. What if you don't want a career? What if you just want to be a laborer?
Let's
What if you
recognize
just want to
how
do
far
manual
we came
labor?
in
You
the
should
fight
be able to
against
have
the
a
pandemic
living
itself.
wage even with that.
While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. COVID deaths are down by 90%. We've saved millions of lives and opened up.
You sent COVID money to the police.
You lost thousands of lives because you didn't have
lost
Medicare.
millions.
But
You lost a million people.
Oh,
that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away.
That's
More
crazy.
than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID.
Man, I should have took some edibles for this shit.
Families grieving.
That's my one now. I had to go smoke. I'm like, yeah, let me.
Empty
I couldn't
chairs at
take
the
that
dining
shit.
room table constantly reminding you
Zero way out doing this.
that she used to sit there. Remembering them, we remain vigilant. We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments.
Gosh,
So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers in small businesses.
Oh, you stole it. You threw it to the police. You're the one who stole it. You took half the COVID relief money and sent it to the police.
Not only that, before he was president, he stole money from a cancer research him and his people had put together. And people were sending millions of dollars from it. And they spent that money on flying around the country.
Half of COVID deaths would have been prevented with Medicare fraud, which Biden said he would
We
veto.
don't need them. And fraud became rampant. Last year, I told you the watchdogs are back. Since then, we recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from the American people. And the data shows that for every dollar we put into fighting fraud, the taxpayers get back at least 10 times as much. It matters. It matters. Look, COVID left its scars, like the spike in violent crime in 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make sure all people are safe.
Oh, here we go.
Public safety depends on public trust, as all of us know.
Oh,
And too often that trust is
here we
violated.
go.
Joining us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols.
What? Gee, here.
Welcome.
The fuck?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Biden is funding the people killing your family.
That's what I was just about. I wish one family they do this to play the role until they get in front of a large audience and say, Joe Biden, you the one who did all this. That's what I hope. One family does that.
Dude, I swear to God, what's that
Me
happen?
too.
But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine.
You funded
Your daughter came home from walking down the street, playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their
This
children.
comes from Jim Crow Joe.
Because of you, motherfucker. We had to talk because of you.
I never had to tell them if a police officer pulls you over, turn your interior lights on right away.
And this is how Democratic Party. This is if
I hate
this is the reason why black people
hands
should
on the
leave
steering
the
wheel.
Democratic Party. If not for them produce
Imagine having to
anything,
worry
the
like
fact
that
that
every
they
single
are the
time.
ones killing us
kid
and
got in the
funding the
car.
killers, and then come around and
Here's
act
what
like they are
Tyree's
our
mother
fucking
shared
friend,
with me when I spoke to her.
like they have
When I
sympathy.
asked her how she
Look,
felt.
I know my mama would go the
Turn
fuck
around and
off
speak out.
if I got killed by the police and they bring her some shit
The
like
faith
this. She'd
of
be
God,
like,
she said her son was
my mama,
killed.
my son told me that
Beautiful
y'all.
Is that Bono?
Oh, listen to this.
Imagine how much courage and character that takes. It's up to us.
Disgusting
All of us.
motherfucker, man.
We all want the same thing. Neighborhoods free of violence.
I hate
Law
these people.
enforcement who earns the community's trust. Just as every cop, when they pin on that badge in the morning, has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else.
Dude, no, they don't. No, they don't.
Our
Their job is to
children
protect us,
have a right
not to
come
go
home
home
safely.
safe at night. That is not their
Equal
job.
protection under the law is a covenant we have with each other in America.
No, we win.
We know
When has that ever existed?
police officers put their lives on the line every single night and day.
No, they don't.
We know we ask them in many cases to do too much to be counselors, social workers, psychologists, responding to drug overdoses.
That's why we told you to defund their ass.
Why are you giving them more money
In one
then?
sense, we ask too much of them. I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority.
Not really.
But they
I
risk.
wish this nigga would talk about the police like this while my dead son was just a victim to these bastards.
They got to sit through this. Tyreek Nicole's parents got to sit
And
through
they
this.
risk
shit.
their lives.
Look at their
Every
faces
time
like,
they put
hold
that
on.
shield on.
He wasn't even clapping.
But what happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need.
What?
Trained by
Hold them to
who?
higher standards.
Israeli
Help them
forces.
to
The
succeed in
Grossman
keeping us
dude?
safe.
Israeli
You know who
forces.
trains them?
We also need
That's
more
what they're
first
getting trained
responders
by.
and professionals to address the growing mental health, substance abuse challenges.
They already
resources to
keep
reduce
training.
violent crime and gun crime.
He's
There's
going
no
down the
more
line to
community
get some more
intervention
money
programs.
because you can only say all this more and more and
investment in
more.
housing,
It can only
education,
be
and
more
job
money at
training.
the end.
And I say Israeli forces. I'm
All
not saying that to
this
be funny.
can help prevent
I'm
violence
saying
in the
that to
first
be
place.
truthful. The people that
Police
killed
officers
that man was trained by Israeli
Police
forces.
departments violate the public trust.
They don't need
Look it
more
up. The
training.
police officers
Be
was
held accountable.
trained by Israeli forces that killed that man.
Yeah.
With the support of the families of victims, civil rights groups, and law enforcement, I signed an executive order for all federal officers, banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants,
A lot of
other
these moves
key
are
elements
already
of the George
illegal.
Floyd Act. Let's commit ourselves to make the words of Tyler's mom true. Something good
What?
must come from this. Something
To
good.
fund the police is the something good.
And all
This
of
is
us,
just This is why black people should leave this party.
all
The
of us.
disgusting
Disgusting.
display of them just using black pain to fund more police to do more killing.
This is
fuck else they
so
gonna do?
sick. This is sick. This is literally. This is making me sick.
They're being those poor people are being used,
Folks,
man.
They are
People
taking
cover
advantage of their
parents.
grief.
All of us in
This
this
is
cha- in this
sick.
chamber.
This is
We
sick,
need to
man.
rise to this
They're
moment.
taking advantage of their grief.
We can't turn away.
Yeah, and he didn't even get the
We know
man's
in
name
our
right.
hearts that we need to
He
do.
didn't even get his name right. That's
Let's come
fucked up.
together to finish the job on police reform. Do something.
You call him
Do
Tyler?
something. That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence.
The
Thank
story
God.
is not about gun violence.
Thank God
The
we
story of
did.
Uvalde is not about gun violence. It's about
Passing
the
the most
police
sweeping gun
that
safety law
allowed
in
the
3
kids to
decades.
die. You see how this shifts the conversation?
That includes things like that the majority of responsible gun owners already support. Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others.
No
But we
mention
know
of the
our
cops
work is
allowing
not
them to
done.
kill all them kids.
Joining us tonight is Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer. And
It
Brandon,
made me sick that these people being used like this, man. It made me sick. When will we wake up and stop allowing this shit to happen? Now, I'm not criticizing anyone
Brandon
here,
now works
but we need to
dance
stop allowing
studio
this to
started
happen.
by his grandparents. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close. And he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. And in that instant, he found
this got to do with my nigga getting killed?
and wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all.
Disarm the police first.
You're not going to do it. Hold on. First of all, he's not going to do that,
I
Nick.
led the fight to do that.
He's not going to do that. That's damn near impossible, for one. And the corporations that got
That ban was law.
no,
Mass
he
shootings
got
went down.
so many. He's
After
in bed with so many weapon
expired, Trump
contractors.
administration,
There's no way.
Mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons. And let's also come together on immigration.
You're gonna have a civil war.
Demilitarize the police first, and then we talk.
He's gonna start a civil war.
We know we now have a record number of personnel working to secure the border, arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing over 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several
Caging millions of kids. Yes,
We've
you're
launched
caging a
new
whole bunch
border
of kids
plan
too.
last month. Unlawful migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence of that.
Let's not forget that them
American border
that a lot of them women and
won't
children are
persist
getting
until Congress
hysterectomies done on them
If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform,
without 3%.
at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border.
How about stopping the sanctions?
And a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those on temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Here in the People's House, it's our duty to protect all the people's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right and the Congress must restore the right
Joe Biden is funding the border
that was
more than
taken
Trump did,
away
by the way.
in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade.
So while they're cheering, I'm gonna say this real quick while they're cheering. So the Republicans are making this political
Remember
theater
what
that
it
they
costs
call
to
Biden
run.
on the border, but Biden's
The
funding
Vice
the border
President
more
and
than
I are
Trump.
doing everything to protect
Deported more
access
people
to
than Trump.
reproductive health care and safeguard patient safety. Well, already more than a dozen states are enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. But let's also pass the Bipartisan Equality Act to ensure LGBTQ Americans, especially transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity. Our strength
You definitely don't believe that.
is not just the example of our power, but the power of our example. Let's remember the world's watching. I spoke in this chamber 1 year ago, just days after Vladimir Putin unleashed his brutal attack against Ukraine.
You know how he didn't give a fuck because he didn't even give a fuck to find even a token transgender to go up there and show off like they found the token Asian and the token black. He didn't even go out of all them fucking shootings, out of all them gang ups that these people are going through. He couldn't find one person.
Stand for the most
Bullshit.
basic of principles. We stand for sovereignty. We stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny. We stand for the defense of democracy.
Bullshit.
Such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity. 1 year later, we know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did.
Palestinians would like a word.
Together, we did what America
Yemen,
does at our best. We led.
Afghanistan,
We
Iran,
united NATO.
Iraq,
We built a global coalition. We
Pakistan.
stood against Putin's aggression. We stood with the Ukrainian people. Tonight, we're once again joined by Ukrainian's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Our ambassador is here We're united in our support of your country. Will you stand so we can all take a look at you? Thank you. Because we're going to stand with you as long as it takes.
When Ukraine get turned into a parking lot for Russia,
Our nation
America is going to be nowhere to be
dignity,
found.
more peace.
I promise you.
Not just in Europe, but everywhere. Before I came to office, the story was about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power, and America was failing in the world. Not anymore. Here we go.
That's the same story. That's the same story, sir.
With many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will make no apologies that we're investing to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industries will define the future that China intends to be dominating. Investing in our alliances and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world.
Hold on. What do he mean by modernize our military? Like, what do you guys still have Soviet Union? You still have Soviet Union weaponry or something?
To work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world, but make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country.
You've been threatening China's sovereignty. Taiwan is part of China. You guys
if they threaten our sovereignty, we're going to attack.
Let's
now, if the balloon incident did not happen, he would not be able to say that line.
We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger.
Zelensky banned opposition parties.
Who changed places
You guys
with Xi
banned
Jinping.
opposition media and RT.
Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health to food insecurity.
The U.S. military pollutes more than anything and anybody that's on the fucking earth right now.
More. Look, the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never.
They're running faster than ever.
America. Never.
You guys alienated all your allies, Biden. India is running, South Africa is running, Saudi Arabia even said fuck you. You have failed. China's stronger than ever because of you.
Well, when I came to office, most assured that bipartisanship assumed was impossible, but never believed it. That's why a year ago I offered a unity agenda to the nation as I stood here. We made real progress together. We passed the law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction. We passed the gun safety law, making historic investments in mental health. We launched the ARPA-H drive for breakthrough in the fights against cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and so much more. We passed
We still going across the border to get our
named
medicine
after the
for our
late Iraq War veteran whose story about exposure to toxic burn kits I shared here last year. I understand something about those burn pits, but there's so much more to do. We can do it together. Joining us tonight is a father named Doug from Newton, New Hampshire. He wrote Jill, my wife, a letter, and me as well, about his courageous daughter, Courtney. His sister's best friend, her sister's best friend. He shared the story all too familiar to millions of Americans and many of you in the audience. Courtney discovered pills in high school. It spiraled into addiction and eventually death from a fentanyl overdose.
Because you touched her, Joe. No.
Describing the last 8 years without her, Doug said, "There's no worse pain." That their
They don't talk about anybody who was addicted to crack like this.
To end the stigma and change laws.
Talk about his son like that, though.
He told us he wants to start a journey toward American recovery.
Crackhead ass nigga.
Doug, we're with you. Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Big.
You should have paid China their debt. No, I'm playing.
Why don't he tell him to just say no?
So let's launch a major surge to stop fentanyl production and the sale and trafficking with more drug detection machines, inspection cargo, stop pills and powder at the border.
Are we gonna act like the FBI just done
Working with courage like FedEx.
pushing these drugs in our neighborhoods?
For
I
drugs.
was just about to say the biggest drug dealers are
Strong
government.
penalties to crack down on fentanyl trafficking. Second, let's do more in mental health, especially for our children. When millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma, we owe them greater access to
poverty.
health care to schools. We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting they're doing running children for profit.
What?
It's time
What
to
the
pass
fuck that to do with
bipartisan
anything?
legislation to
Real
stop
trauma
big
that
tech
comes from children is through
collecting
poverty
personal
and being
data on
made
our
hungry.
kids.
He brought up
Our
social
teenagers
media. What the
online.
fuck you talking about?
Ban targeted advertising to children and impose stricter limits on the personal data.
Hell no, nigga. That what?
He pushes
Third,
censorship using children.
this
What the
nation's
fuck you
one
talking about?
truly
Right
sacred
before I started, I
obligation
went out and said blah
to
blah
equip
blah
those
for
we
dinner,
send
and then
into
I
harm's
went
way
back
and care
here.
for them and their families when they come home. Job training, job placement for veterans and their spouses as they come to return to civilian life. Helping veterans afford the rent because no one should be homeless in America, especially someone who served the country.
But they are, because the system doesn't work. And also, no one should be homeless. Doesn't matter if you fall in war or not. Period. Good chat.
Dennis McDonough is here, of the VA.
Fuck that. If you went to the military, you deserve to be
First
homeless.
Bill's
Shit. Fuck
discussion
you.
when I asked him to take the job. I'm glad he did. We were losing up to 25 veterans a day on suicide. Now we're losing 17 a day to the silent scourge of suicide.
No way you gotta
17
brag about
veterans a
that.
day are committing suicide. More than all the people being killed in the wars. Folks, VA is doing everything it can, including
No, it's not.
expanding mental health screening, proven programs that recruits veterans to help other veterans understand what they're going through, get them the help they need. We got to do more. And fourth, last year, Jill and I reignited the cancer moonshot that I was able to start with President Obama asking me to lead our
No policy
administration.
specifics here.
Our goal is to cut the cancer death rates at least by
I believe
50% in the next
this is
25 years.
the organization that he
Turn
stole
more
money
cancers
from.
from death sentences to treatable diseases. Provide more support for patients and their families. It's personal to so many of us in this audience. Joining us are Morris and Candice, an Irishman and the daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same chapel Jill and I got married in New York City. Kindred spirits. He wrote us a letter about his little daughter, Ava, and I saw her just before I came over. She was just a year old when she was diagnosed with rare kidney disease, cancer. After 26 blood transfusions, 11 rounds of radiation, 8 rounds of chemo, 1 kidney removed, giving a 5% survival rate. He wrote how in the darkest moments he thought, if she goes, I can't stay. Many of you
How
went
much
through
does
that
that
as
cost?
well. Jill and I understand that like so many of you. And he read Jill's book describing our family's cancer journey and how we tried to steal moments of joy where we could with Bo.
Fuck
For
your
them,
son,
the
bro.
joy was the half
What about
smile
Americans who can't afford
of their
cancer
baby
care like you
girl.
guys could?
It meant everything to them. They never gave up hope. Little Ava never gave up hope. She turns 4 next month. They just found out Ava's beating the odds, is on her way to being cured of cancer. And she's watching from the White House tonight, and she's not asleep.
How much it
already.
cost?
Right.
How much
I
it cost?
I was just about to
The
say that.
lives
Thank
we
you.
can save.
Do you need health care for that?
Is he about to announce Medicare for all, universal health care? Like, what's going on?
Lives
Because
we can say and the
I'm
lives
pretty
we
sure they
lost.
wasted, not wasted, but they
But my
spent
question
out.
for liberals always been,
It rallies
if
the
we can
country, the
cover
world
COVID
together.
care,
and
why
prove
not
that we can
cancer?
still do
Do
big
cancer
things.
patients deserve it?
20 years ago, under the leadership of President Bush and countless advocates and champions, he undertook a bipartisan effort through PEPFAR to transform the global fight against HIV/AIDS. It's been a huge success. He thought big. He thought large. He moved.
This
I
would be
believe we can do the
groundbreaking.
same thing
I
with
never heard
cancer.
of that.
Let's end cancer as we know it. Cure some cancers
Oh God!
once and for all.
You can't cure cancer. We are born with cancer.
One
Cancer is
reason
a
why
fucking
we've been able to
cell.
do all of these things. Our democracy itself.
You control it.
It's the most fundamental thing of all.
Fucking idiot.
With democracy, everything's possible. Without it, nothing is. The last few years, our democracy has been threatened and attacked, put at risk, put to the test in this very room on January the 6th. And then just a few months ago,
That shit is so blown
an
out of
unhinged,
proportion, man.
big lie, assailed and unleashed a political violence, the home of the House Speaker of the House of Representatives. Using the very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th. Here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack, but is as tough and as strong and as resilient as they get.
Oh my God.
My friend Paul Pelosi. Paul Stanley.
All these victims
Oh
of-
my
all these
God. Get the
victims of
fuck out of
capitalism.
here.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All these victims
Get
of
out of
capitalism.
here. Is that Bono?
Yeah. You know it's him with them
Such
stupid
a
ass
heinous
glasses
act
on.
should have never happened. We must all speak out. There's no place for political violence in America. We have to
Political
protect
violence
right
is what
to
the
vote,
police
not suppress
do.
the fat fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of the people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy. We must give hate and extremism in any form no safe harbor.
Y'all killed Dr. King. What the hell are you talking about?
Except Israel, that's the good kind of hate though.
Democracy must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue. Every generation of Americans has faced a moment where they have been called to protect our democracy, defend it, stand up for it.
And they failed every
This
time.
is our moment. My fellow Americans,
I'm bringing back the draft.
tonight is an inflection point. One of those moments that only a few generations ever face, where the direction we now take is going to decide the course of this nation for decades to come. We're not bystanders of history. We're not powerless before the forces that confront us. It's within our power of we, the people.
We're not the bystanders of
facing the
history.
test
We're
of
the
our
villains. We're the empire itself. We're not the NPC. You're right about that,
We
Biden.
write the history.
Forward-looking.
You're Darth
Nation
Vader,
embraces
motherfucker.
light over dark, hope over fear, unity over division, stability over chaos. We have to see each other not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. We're good people.
Except if they protest Cop
The
City
only
and they get
nation
labeled
in the
domestic
world built
terrorists.
on an idea. The only one. Other nations are defined by geography, ethnicity. But we're the only nation based on an idea. That all of
Slavery?
us, every one of us is created equal in the image of God.
Oh,
a
shut
nation that
up.
stands as a beacon to the world. A nation in a new age of possibilities. So I've come to
This is why I don't like religious
my
people. Because if
constitutional
y'all got the same God as
important
Joe
State of the
Biden,
Union.
man,
And here's my
something wrong.
because the soul of this nation is strong, because the backbone of this nation is strong, because the people of this nation are strong. The State of the Union is strong.
No, actually, we're dying. We're starving. We're cut the check. 60% of us. We're losing everything. There's mass evictions going across the nation right now. People are
Bro, the
starving
people
to death
hate
in America.
you. The people hate you, Biden. Most people don't vote because they don't believe in you.
I'm not new to this place. I stand here tonight,
obviously,
having served as long as about any one of you have ever served here.
Oligarchy.
But I've never been more optimistic about our future, about the future of America. We just have to remember who we are.
Pull is a dictator, but
We're
we
the
can't get rid of this
United
motherfucker.
States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together.
Oh,
God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Xi Jinping, please liberate us.
Oh wow, it's already over, huh?
Thank God,
like
dude.
it
I
was
was literally
over.
reaching my
Are
limit.
getting their asses kicked. NATO
I was
was
reaching my limit. So I'm glad it's over. Xi Jinping.
Your
hell,
thoughts, JB? I know you got to get up early. What are your thoughts now that it's over? What do you think about the State of the Union and the lies that were told?
I'm gonna sound like an old man right now, but this motherfucker makes my ass itch.
I swear, bro.
Like, like what? Like this guy just. I mean, it was just BS all around. I mean, come to and then to tout out Tyree Nichols' family, his parents like that. Even though they're literally their son was literally the victim of the policies that Joe Biden instituted. That's what it was. And yet he's basically saying, oh, well, they were just victims of happenstance. No. Because last year he said we're going to fund the police and keep funding the same type of people that murdered Tyree Nichols in cold blood. And so I see Tyree Nichols' parents as further victims of the brainwashing of what this country does. And I feel sorry for them. The fact that they were brainwashed into thinking that this is a way of how we're going to get change.
My take I have after watching that, bipartisanship is scary, guys. And this is what like CJ said earlier, this was a collection of the ruling class. This was a showcase, a U.S. exceptionalism performance. So I'm gonna show this. This is a clip that's going around, and I will explain this because Biden and Kevin McCarthy will be working a lot together. And MAGA and Trump people are grasping at straws, finding reasons to criticize Biden. That's why you got Marjorie Taylor Greene running around with a balloon. They saying that he's a secret Marxist socialist. They have to go after his son. The reason why they do that is because they politically agree on everything.
Yeah.
They oh my God, the border. Biden is funding the border more than Donald Trump. Trump supporters, I need you to reconcile with this fact. He deported more people than Donald Trump. He's funding DHS and ICE more than Donald Trump. The border industrial complex has boomed under Joe Biden. Now you have Kevin McCarthy and Joe Biden who agrees on funding Ukraine. So where's the major disagreements? And now they're pretending that Joe Biden is weak on China. He completely rewritten Chinese trade policy. This stuff that Donald Trump even wouldn't do. He armed Taiwan. And now Kevin McCarthy gonna go to Taiwan. He got Biden's blessing. So he's been antagonistic against China while he gave this speech pretending, oh, we don't want to pro-China militarily. We are not the ones being offensive. Yes, you are. That's Biden's attempt at gaslighting the world, and 85% of the population don't see it. So I'll read this. I'll pass it to the panel because it's just my initial thoughts, just freestyling it. This is a tweet I saw going around. This is where Joe Biden he talked to Kevin McCarthy. He said, "Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you." And when I saw this clip, this is what sends chills down my spine because they're going to work together to wage war against China, to continue to fund the weapon defense contractors more. They're not coming together to increase the quality of the working class. So I see everyone together in this room, and they pretending that they got differences. They got put on a show and pretend they got differences. They all fighting for the same goal, to increase the quality of life and the power of the capitalist infrastructure in the empire. Any thoughts, guys? I know I'm ranting. Like, there's a lot to say here.
No, my last thoughts is this is why I don't watch this stuff. But being in what we're our RBN now has to cover this nauseating garbage. But It's good to give other people. It's good to give people an option other than the cookie cutter milk toast approach to this that you're gonna get on like Breaking Points or TYT. So people want to hear what we're saying, but still, just to sit through and stomach complete lies, literally hundreds of lies that was told in that speech, and
Wonder
it was
what Tiger
disgusting.
said about the China part. Like, that's probably gonna be a segment alone because that's the difference. Like, and that's why what Jimmy did on Tucker is important because he need to go on these audiences and tell them that China is not our enemy. And I'm curious. I'm not gonna say anything yet because I'm not gonna throw shade till I see it. But I promise you, all these progressive war pigs, they're gonna repeat. They've been repeating this anti-China shit, pretending that China's the aggressor when that's further than the truth. China has backed down so many times.
Yeah.
So many times China and Russia back down. Then there's an air balloon in the sky. And now all of a sudden, the onus on the United States to escalate more.
And what's so sickening is I'm pretty sure all of us know that we can't really win the war against China. Especially like they can cut off a lot of things. They can cut off a lot of things. They can actually call for their debts. A lot of shit. They can put sanctions on us if they wanted to. So if we was to if we was to actually go to war with China, man, it's gonna be hell to pay. We're not building as many weapons, and we don't have that manufacturing that we sold to them. We don't have that manpower, even in our militaries. Like it's gonna be hell to pay. But I believe these people are trying to. They know that their time has come. They're just trying to take us out with them.
So Sarah Huckabee Sanders is apparently supposed to do this Republican response. I don't know what time it's gonna be. I don't know if I can stomach it. We may react to it later. Anyone know what time that's gonna be? Getting late here.
I don't know, but I gotta get going because I don't have.
Yeah, I know CJ dipped out. I'm like, we about 2 hours in. Like, what will Sarah Huckabee Sanders say that's gonna be interesting? Like, here's the tweet from Kevin McCarthy. CJ, you know what time the Republican response is?
I don't. It's usually within 10, 15 minutes after it's over.
We gotta do an errors.
So this
no. I gotta go too. Like JB, I gotta.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
We can wrap here. 2 hours
time over here. Yeah, it's still early over here. So
yeah, 2 hours is good. 2 hours is good.
Yeah, I mean, and we provided. I mean, it's Sarah Huckabee Sanders, man. She's not going to do anything to provide culture war, but this was a disgusting.
She's gonna. I want to see what she say about China, but I can. Because you already know she's gonna be like Joe Biden.
Well, if you got time, Nick, you can stay on. If you got time,
I got.
Like, no, I'm good.
I might do that as a separate segment. I don't really care about what.
We can do it on replay.
9/11 broke. 9/11 broke Americans' brains now to the point that they are like that old guy that live in the middle of nowhere with a shotgun. And anybody step on a blade of his grass, hey, get off my lawn. And they cocking back their shotgun like, dude. And I guarantee that wasn't even. If I was China, I'd be like, yeah, that's my balloon, just to make y'all look even more paranoid. But I don't believe for a second that shit had anything to do with China. I believe this is some propaganda to get you guys all ramped up because look what 9/11 did. Since 9/11, you guys have been waiting,
Yeah, so we got a dip. So
tomorrow,
Nick and
what's
Night.
happening tomorrow? Go ahead.
So tomorrow, Nick and Night, 8:30 Central Time. We will have Andrew. He will be back, and then we have Carlos Gallego, maybe Zoya as well. So it should be a great foreign policy roundtable. So that's what I have for tomorrow. CJ, JB, bro.
I got one thing I wanted to show. I got one thing I wanted to show the people. Hold on 1 second.
Well,
I'm sorry, JB. What'd you say?
No, I was gonna say, while you were looking for that, I'm just gonna let everybody know I'll be on my channel on Thursday at 2. I'll have on Jimmy Dore and then the Sabby and JB show at that evening at 6 as always. So I'll catch you guys on that day. I'm just like, I got to go to bed because that whole
Yeah.
That whole clusterfuck was just bleh, bleh. So
yeah, I'm definitely going to go smoke after this.
mhm.
But
look, I'm a pray for both of y'all. I'm just kidding.
I just
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, JB. I'm just trying to get everybody an update on what RBN been working on lately. We
Well,
are
you can finish it. You can
building a
finish the
library.
stream.
When I say building,
You can finish the stream, Rome. I gotta take off. Like I said, my family's waiting at the dinner table right now for me to go to the dinner table. So I'm taking off.
all right, yeah.
I shall see
Tell everybody I
everybody.
say hi.
You can finish the stream up, Doug. All right, I'll tell everybody.
All right.
Okay, so
all right. So this is the inside of the library.
Switch
This is the
projects
inside of
right
the
now.
kitchen that we're looking at so far. And if you can see,
Okay,
it would
let's
look
talk to
nice
Ryan,
with
we made
some
a deal.
TLC.
Switch projects for right now.
Gotta get it back. No, look at that.
I gotta do the kitchen.
Hold on, let me click this damn thing. Damn
As
it.
you can see, it's not in the best of shape.
I don't know why it's not playing, but
okay, so let's talk to Ronnie and we made a deal. We just switch projects for right now. I gotta do the kitchen.
Right there, the ceiling is coming down. It had a real bad roof leak. We got the roof fixed. That cost a couple of $1,000s for real. But you see,
yeah,
the sink fell in the floor. I need floor joints and basically a new floor.
So
I'm gonna cut 6 feet into the floor, place it
for wood,
6 to
for
8
flooring,
feet.
2x8s.
Let me fast forward a little bit.
I'm pretty sure we can find a stove.
So y'all can see where my spot is going to be for the actual library.
All of this have to go. All of this have to go. Get all the sticky towel up.
Okay, so this is where my spot is going to be. Let me want to bet you see it. So starting here, I get the stage, and we're going to have bookshelves up here. I'm more likely going to have like a mirror on the wall.
Get the stage.
It was a church, but
on the stage, sideways this way.
I have them lined up like that.
Like we replace.
But if you guys want to help us out, this is just something like my friend Ronnie. He helped me out a lot with this. He let me get half of the building. We just helping each other out with fixing it up. And he said if I can help fix it up, then I got a place to stay forever. So it's gonna. You do all of that by yourself. I mean, yeah, I can build. I've been building houses since I was a teenager. So it ain't nothing to throw some drywall up, plumbing, piping. What's hard to do is accumulate the money. So if you can donate to Tour for the Poor on Cash App, that's $ Tour for the Poor, Unholy Rome 6 on PayPal, I believe, and Tour for the Poor or Rome Bethia on Venmo. We're trying to get this shit done before the summertime. If I can at least get the kitchen done, then I can. If I can get the kitchen done, the rest of it is gonna come into play because it's not just us fixing on it. I have other people working on it. It's not my building, so of course he's working on it too. But we're going 50-50 with it. I just want to hold up my end of the bargain, and I need y'all help with this. Like I really do need your help as much as possible. I want to thank you, Seth, for the $30. Taurus Library. We've been fundraising for a couple of days. It's the second one, Tour FOR, Tour for the Poor. It's all spelled out. But yeah, we can it ain't nothing to build it and destroy it and rebuild it. The thing is, it's just getting the money for it. So that's why I'm reaching out for help because it takes a village to do some shit like this. It's gonna take a lot, but I'm not I'm not gonna give up. You know, that's what a lot of people they expecting of me. You know, like, oh well, that seems like a big job. Like, well, shit, got to be done because the only library that we have over here on the east side is damn it, I can't copy it. Why I can't copy that? It's never open. They can't afford it. All their funding is gone. So okay, I think I got it this time, y'all. I think I got it. I think I got it. Yay. Okay, I just dropped the links for Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. I'm trying to get this open late June. If I can't get it open late June, then so be it. It is what it is. We're gonna push for next year because I know I still need to work on repainting and stuff like that. But we're gonna take it a day at a time. I want to get this kitchen done. That way I can make my way outside towards my end. Once I got my end done, he should be done with his side. We should be rewiring for the lights, and it should be time to head outside. Everybody that can donate books, laptops, computers, desktops, we're gonna put that on a hold for right now because I want you to be able to actually donate to the building. And with us not actually being there right now, it's a risk of those getting stolen or too much traffic and packages coming to the building. It can make it a spot for a break-in. So we want to make sure that the people can can enjoy these things. So once we get everything open or at least everything cleaned out and new carpet, then we're gonna be accepting books and stuff for that. But until then, stack up on what y'all got. Stack up on what y'all got, and we're gonna all come together. We're gonna all come together. But thank y'all for sticking around. The library, it's been a dream of mine since I was a kid. Since my library basically didn't have the funding to stay open 7 days a week. When they start charging people for printing, for using the computer and stuff like that, I really seen the neglect that my people went through, and I was like, something gotta change. And I always wanted to open up something like this. I always wanted to do something like this to help future generations learn, and especially learn without the whitewashing of history. You can learn from the China from China. You can learn from Russia. You can learn from the Soviet era, whatever it is. We won't hold you back, but it's been a big dream of mine. I appreciate y'all having my back, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all take care.